Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first ever episode of Casual Mondays, a podcast hosted by me, Kat Sanders. So excited to have y'all here today, and I am so excited about today's topic. I turned 26 a couple weeks ago, which is so crazy. And like I do every year, I was thinking about things that I've learned throughout my years on this earth, whether they be silly or serious, and figured I'd take the time to share the wealth a little bit. So I've written down a list of 26 things in no particular order. Like I said, they can be totally unserious or really deep. Doesn't really matter. 26 things that I've learned that I wish I could tell my 16-year-old self. Bit of a disclaimer before we start though. Y'all knew it was coming. Y'all, I am not a professional, okay? The only qualification I have for giving this advice and saying the things I'm about to say is having lived my life. These are, like I said, lessons that I have learned in 26 years, just going about my life, dating and living and making friends and all of that stuff. This advice comes from those experiences. It doesn't come from any professional training of any sort. So feel free to take a lot of what I say with a grain of salt. Another thing is, I am a woman who dates men. Some of my advice kind of reflects that, but a lot of the advice can be applied to everyone across the board, or at least can be modified to whatever your preferences are, whatever you feel can fit into your life and your lifestyle. So, like I said, whatever applies to you, whatever you feel like you want to take from this, go ahead and take it. But I figured I'd share lessons that I wish someone had told me, or maybe they did and I just didn't listen at the time, and now I look back and wish I had. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing I have on my list is do not focus on dating in high school, instead focus on your friends in school. Now, before you turn off the episode, hear me out for a second, okay? I am in no way dissing high school sweetheart relationships. I have so many friends who are married to and have started families and created beautiful lives with their high school sweethearts. I am perfectly aware that it works out, and I am a big supporter of their relationships. However, the advice here more centers around do not let it occupy your mind and your energy in high school. You are so young. You're still figuring out what you like and where you're going to be in life and what you're going to do. And you're still developing in a lot of ways. Spend time with your friends, study hard to get into a good school or to build the life you want. And I promise you, just prioritizing those things ahead of dating, making that, a third or fourth priority in your life will be so much better for your outlook on things as you navigate high school. The second thing I have is to not skimp out on your college experience for the sake of making better grades. Now, I'll tell you a little story here to help explain this. My sister was honors engineering at the University of Texas. She spent most of her time studying. She was in a sorority, and she really only attended things in that sorority, the bare minimum that she had to, or events that were really big deals. But she sacrificed a lot to stay home and study and make the best grade she possibly could. And it worked out for her, okay? She graduated. She got an amazing job right out of college at a top company. But so did the girls in her program who leaned more into their college experience, went out more, socialized more, did more things, still prioritize their grades, okay? We're not saying go buck wild here, okay? I'm not by any means saying C's get degrees. I think school is very important. But leaning into that socialization and making friends and making memories and doing things in college is just as important, if not more important, as school. And it's something that she truthfully regrets. If she said if she could go back, she would have done more, knowing that it all worked out in the end for everyone. The girls that leaned into the socializing more, she wishes she could have known that. So that's a lot of the reason why I included it here, is that it's more important than you think, okay? Go out, have a good time. You don't need to go party. If that's not your scene, that's totally fine. Join an organization, join a group. There are so many available on college campuses that just go do more. Don't only focus on school. The next thing I have is dating someone with the same values as you is so much more important than anything else. And it's a lot more important than you realize. Making sure you are on the same page, whether it's politically, religiously, lifestyle-ly, the way you wanna live your life. That is so incredibly important, and lifestyle differences and differences of opinions on major issues has been the demise of so many of my relationships or potential relationships that it felt too important to not include. Because for a long time, I thought it was something that, "Oh, we can just work out and get over, and it's not that important." It is important because it not only goes into life and how you think and what this person is like and how they view the world, it goes into how you raise any future children. It goes into how you go about your life and if that's going to be compatible with someone. So, looks fade, things like that go away, and what you're left with is someone that you have things in common with, and the basis and foundation of that is the way you see the world. So, I would always recommend that you date someone who is on the same spectrum as you, when it comes to religion, politics, things of that nature. It's a lot more important than you realize in the long run. The next thing I have is to invest in good quality, timeless, staple pieces that will last you forever when it comes to fashion and jewelry. In the long run, you will save money because things aren't tearing, they're better quality, they last longer, they don't tarnish. And it's always better to have a very timeless look to yourself as opposed to going into trends that may or may not be in style a year from now. Now, if that's something you don't care about, then totally disregard all of this. But if it is something that speaks to you, I would take that approach when it comes to shopping for your clothes. The next thing I have is that everyone's on their own timeline. And boy, do I know this better than anyone. I'm 26 years old and finishing my college degree, my undergraduate college degree. And for a long time, that was something that I was very insecure about and felt that I was very behind. And then I realized that it's impossible to be behind in your own life. So everyone's on their own timeline. You don't know what people have going for them or don't have going for them. So it's always just better to stick to yourself and better yourself and do all of that as opposed to focusing on what everyone else is doing because it's just unproductive and everyone's got their own thing, everyone's on their own pace, and that is perfectly okay. Number 6, hug your parents, call your grandparents. You do not realize how incredibly short life is. I know everyone says that, and it's something that everyone thinks they know until you experience something that really shakes you for it. About a year ago, my dad was in a very bad accident. By the miracle of the Lord, he survived, but it really put into perspective that at any time I could lose one or both of my parents. And it just really got me thinking to cherish the time I have with them, to hug them, to tell them I love them, and to be genuine about my time I have with them because you never know. So hug your parents, call your grandparents, tell them you love them. The next one I have is so incredibly important, and it is embarrassing how long it took for me to really learn this. Real friends will not make you feel bad about yourself or be jealous of you. Okay, they will lift you up regardless. And like I said, I have experienced this. I have nightmare stories about jealous friends. And for a long time, I was hanging out with people and leaving feeling so crappy about myself or just having this pit in my stomach and not knowing what it was until I stopped being friends with them and realizing, oh, it was them. They made me feel bad about myself. They put me down. They're jealous of me. They try to diminish my successes to lift themselves up or for whatever other motive they had. And it is exhausting to be friends with someone like that. If you know someone in your life like that, I would really heavily suggest either cutting that person out completely, setting major boundaries, and at the end of the day, just praying for them because that's not a way that anyone should go through life, viewing their friends as competition. So always pray for that person, but at the same time, put yourself first and set the boundaries you need to have a better outlook on life for yourself. Number 8, date on weekdays, okay? Look, weekends for me are for friends. I have so little free time. I'm a full time student. I work a full time job. I'm trying to balance my social life with all of that. If I go on a date, it's going to be a weeknight date. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, those are for my girls, those are for my family. And if you want to earn that spot in my schedule, you can pursue me more genuinely. The next one I have is to find your own personal style. For a long time, I found myself buying clothes because they fit into a trend or whatnot, not because they were me or really spoke to me. And the minute I started really honing in on my personal style and dressing the way I wanted to, my confidence absolutely skyrocketed. I started getting more compliments because I just exuded an energy in my clothes now that people started loving the outfit I was wearing or seeing someone on the street being like, "Oh my god, I saw a girl with such a cute outfit. Looks like something you would wear." And that feels pretty good. So I would strongly suggest if you're looking for a confidence boost to go through your closet, throw out anything that does not speak to you, and start dressing in the way you want to and in a way that will bring out your true personality and more confidence. The next one I have is to find a workout that you love to do and do it. Okay. It's just that easy. Just because something is the trendy workout at the moment, such as marathon running or Pilates or whatever you think of when you think of working out, it has to mean like lifting weights or doing things like that. That's not necessarily true. Now, if you love to do that stuff, by all means, go ahead, do it. Get some exercise, get some energy. It's good for you. Uh, but there are so many different kinds of workouts out there and ways to stay healthy that I would strongly suggest finding one that you love to do and do it. I could list for you my five best friends. We all work out in very different ways. We're all in good shape. We all love our workout that we do. We find it fun. It gives us energy. It gives us life. And the end of the day, working out is so good for you for very obvious and known reasons. Um, don't spend an hour of your day every day torturing yourself in the gym or running if that's something you do not like to do. Find something you love and do it. And I promise you, you will be a lot happier. You will love to do it. You will want to be more healthy. Total game changer. The next one I have is that therapy, counseling, and having an unbiased counselor of some sort in your life is worth every penny. It is worth every emotion. It is worth everything to have someone in your life who is not your parent, your friend, your significant other, anything like that, who you can go to with your problems and talk them out and seek genuine advice on how to better yourself, change, work through something. Okay. As much as the people in your life might give amazing advice and they might be amazing sounding boards for certain situations, I think that having someone unbiased is so important because people close to you are always going to be a little biased towards you, which might not always be the best thing. They might tell you what you want to hear and what not what you need to hear, which at the end of the day is just not going to be productive. And also, and no one really wants to hear this, but constantly going to the people you love with problems and negativity and all of that can cause a lot of resentment. Obviously, I know I can go to my friends and family for anything. That's not something that I'm saying you shouldn't do. Obviously, it is so important to have friendships and relationships in life where you can openly communicate, but don't always be putting your stuff on the people you love. Okay. People are attracted to positive energy. If you're constantly bringing negative energy around, then you might lose out on a really great relationship. Always better to go to someone unbiased, someone who is a professional. So, whether that be a psychiatrist, a therapist, a religious counselor, I personally go to my pastor for most things of this nature. And let me tell you, it has healed so many of my friendships when we all kind of looked at each other and said, let's start going to other people for our problems and not each other. Let's let hanging out with each other be positive. Okay. Once again, and I will say this, I can always go to my friends for things. They can always come to me for things, and I am not rolling my eyes at them or scoffing. But once you truly understand that going to someone else can be a lot more productive, then I promise your friendships are going to change for the better. Number 12, drink water. That's it. Okay, drink water. So many health benefits. We all know what they are. You're going to feel better. You're going to be more energized. Your skin's going to be better. Your hair's going to be better. Your nails are going to be better. You're going to be better. You're going to feel better. Drink water. Okay. Get a Yeti or a Stanley. They're amazing. Carry it with you everywhere. Drink water. Next, wash your face, moisturize, wear sunscreen. Y'all will absolutely change your life for the better. Your skin will be better. You will age slower if that's something you're concerned about, and you will not be as high of risk to certain skin cancers. Okay. Melanoma is out there, y'all. Wear your sunscreen. The next thing I have, take more photos. I'm a huge proponent of this. Take as many pictures as you can because you're going to look back at them one day and love every single one. I promise you. I recently invested in a digital camera that I can put in my purse and I can take out with me, whether I'm going to dinner with friends, going out to the bars, doing anything like that on vacation. And I always am taking it out and taking pictures. And I promise you, you might seem annoying in the time, but you're going to look back at those photos and just be so grateful that you have great quality photos. If you don't have a camera, your phone. Y'all, we have cameras on us at all times, okay? Take more photos of you and the people you love, especially kind of tying back to the whole hug your parents and your grandparents thing. Take more pictures with your family and the people you love. Okay? I promise you, it's the best idea. The next thing I have is if someone is telling you something and you know that they have your best interest at heart, listen to them. Okay? I was in a very toxic, bad relationship that my rose colored glasses, y'all, were strapped to my face. No one could take them off when it came to this guy. And I had people that were so in my corner. People like my parents, my sister, my best friends, okay? Giving me hints, not wanting to tell me outright, but giving me enough hints to where I knew how they felt about this guy, chose to ignore it. They don't know him like I do, whatever. Fast forward, obviously, we are no longer together. And I just wish I had listened to them, okay? If people are truly in your corner, okay? And I say that because sometimes people aren't in your corner. They give you bad advice. This isn't that, okay? People are truly in your corner and have done nothing but support you and love you and want the best for you. If they are telling you something about a person you are involved with romantically, platonically, anything like that, and they are kind of wary about them and are warning you, listen to them more than you think you will, okay? Because I promise you, 99% of the time, they are absolutely correct, and you're going to wish you had listened to them. The next one I have took me 25 years to come to terms with, okay? Let me spell it out for you. If he wanted to, he would. Let me repeat that. If he wanted to, he would. Men are very simple creatures, okay? If he wants to make you his girlfriend, he will make you his girlfriend. Stop wasting your time on men who are not pursuing you in the way you want to be pursued. And before you say something like, oh, well, he's stressed out at work and he has all this stuff going on, I raise you one of my best guy friends. When he met his fiance, he was working 18-hour days as an analyst. He had just moved. He had so much going on, okay, that he literally did not have time to date. He met her and he said, I'm going to marry that girl one day. And he made it work, okay? He made it work. He made sure he pursued her in the way that she deserved to be pursued. And he made dang sure that she never once felt confused or questioned the way he felt about her. Okay, he was very communicative with his situation with work, but she tells me that she looks back at their relationship and would never know that he didn't necessarily have the time because he made her his priority. And if a man is not doing that for you, then what are you doing? Okay? What are you doing? Cut him loose. Okay? Because someone will treat you the way you deserve to be treated. This next one is going to go in one ear and out the other with a lot of y'all, but when you're at a social function, 2 to 3 alcoholic beverages is enough. Okay, and even 3 is kind of pushing it. And obviously, this is only for people who do drink alcohol. Anything more than that, you're just gonna look stupid and make a fool out of yourself. Okay, like I said, 3's pushing it. I personally never really go above 2.5 when I'm out with friends, because I also don't like being hungover. I like to feel good. So take for that what you will. This next one I hate that I even have to include, but safety first. Whenever you're in an Uber or a Lyft or anything of that nature, you are never going home to be alone. You never tell them you live alone. You never even tell them you live with all female roommates, okay? Whether I'm single, in a relationship, live by myself, live with a bunch of people, I am always going home to my husband, to my boyfriend, to a man, okay? Once again, hate that I have to even put this in here, but you never know people's intentions, and there are so many horror stories out there. Um, Always better to be safe than sorry. So I'm always going home to my husband. The next one I have is to find a church in your community that speaks to you, that you enjoy going to, and that you can get involved in any organization or club in your city for that matter, something away from work and school you can get involved in. I personally use church as an example because um, it has been the most game changing for my mental health. I've met so many people at church. I have grown so much closer to God and grown in my faith so much getting involved in my church. I personally am a member of All Saints Presbyterian Church in Austin. I absolutely love it. Reverend Tim Frickenschmidt, our lead reverend there. He's incredible. So are all the other members of the pastoral staff. But finding a good church that speaks to you, whether that be a new age non-denominational or a very traditional church or something in between, find something that you like, go, get involved. It's absolutely worth it. Number 20, bettering yourself will never go out of style, and self-awareness is so important. Okay, if you know you have a bad quality, do not make it your personality trait. Okay, nip it in the bud. No one wants to hang out with someone who's chronically late and OMG, I'm always so late. Stop that. It's rude. And that goes for any bad quality you have. Change it. Better yourself. Okay? You'll thank yourself for it in the future. The people around you will thank you for it. Okay? Self-awareness is the most important quality you can have. Next thing I have is working in a toxic work environment will never be worth it. I don't care how much money you're making. I don't care what your benefits are. If you are going to work and spending the majority of your life in a toxic environment that makes you feel bad, you will never get that time back. I'm very lucky that I work for a company that values its employees. I have so much fun when I go to work. It's a lot of the reason I choose to be a full-time online student because I did not want to quit my job because I love it so much. And I make very similar salaries to my friends who work these horrible jobs. And in my head, I always think, why? You can find a job where they value you and you have fun and you like going into the office every day. Okay, you don't have to work a crappy job with a crappy manager just because you feel like you have to. Okay, find something else. Okay, it'll be so much better for your mental health. It's a game changer. Find something that is not toxic. The next thing I have is a piece of advice my parents gave me a long time ago. I was in a season of life where I didn't have a lot of close friends. My best friends didn't live in the same city as me. And I was really struggling because I saw so many people around me having these amazing friend groups. And my parents said to me, Kat, who are our best friends? And I listed a few people. And they said, when did we meet them? And I realized that their closest friends in this world, people who are like second parents to me, people we've vacationed with, and their kids are my best friends, are people that my parents met when I was in preschool. Okay? They explained to me this so beautifully, and I've never let this cause me anxiety again since then about how when you're young, your friend groups are going to split and multiply so many different ways. Okay. At first, it's a bunch of single people hanging out. Okay. And then people start coupling up and getting married. And then they typically hang out with other couples. And then they start having kids. And then they start hanging out with other people with kids. And then the kids get old enough to where there's now a gender separation. All my parents' close friends are people whose daughters were in my preschool class. And putting that into perspective is just so crazy to think, but it's true. Okay, my parents didn't meet their best friends in this world until they were in their mid to late 30s. And it just gave me so much comfort and peace hearing that once again, everyone's on their own timeline. Just because you do not have your set group of friends and you think everyone else does, they are coming, I promise. The next thing I have is your neurodivergence will not necessarily earn you special treatment in the corporate world. Coming from a corporate girly who has ADD and ADHD. There was a viral video on TikTok going around about a girl very upset that her potential manager at a job did not offer accommodations for time blindness, which is a symptom of her ADHD. And at that video, I laughed because as someone who also suffers from time blindness, I would never make that my manager's problem. I set alarms. I get up early. I make sure that my neurodivergence is not hindering my ability to do my job. Because at the end of the day, as much as I do love my job and as much as I know they value me, if something I'm doing becomes a nuisance in the company, they will replace me so fast. Okay? I do not have the audacity to ask for something like that. And if you think that you are entitled to something like that, you better check yourself because the corporate world is not something that is easy to navigate a lot of times. And you're going to want to make it a lot easier for yourself. And a way to do that is to be self aware and to know the things that might set you back a little bit, fix them. Okay? It's easy. I'm medicated for my ADD. I get up super early and get to the office early so that I don't run into issues with time blindness. I make sure that I do my work in the way that I want to do it so that it gets done in a way that I understand it. And at the end of the day, my manager appreciates me for it. Do not look for accommodations in the corporate world for something that you need to accommodate yourself for. This next one is short and sweet because there's really no true explanation for it. People can sometimes be crappy, okay? Not everything is because someone's having a bad day or because they're going through it or whatever. People can sometimes just be really crappy people, and you don't have to be friends with them. That's the beauty of life. Stay away from crappy people. That's it. Second to last thing I have on this list is the most freeing thing that you can realize in this world. And that is no one gives a crap about you. Everyone is so hyper-focused on their own stuff, on their own problems, on their own lives, that you are free to live your life and do whatever you want to do. No one is judging you. No one cares. And if they do, then they're weird. Because why are you so judgmental and why do you care so much about my life? Focus on your own stuff. Okay? This is my life that I'm living. No one cares. And that's a beautiful thing once you realize it, okay? You will go through life so much happier when you realize that. The very last thing I have, the number 26 item on the 26 things I've learned in 26 years on this earth, is that learning how to trust God fully and completely is the only way to truly and naturally cure anxiety. I was so anxious at one point in my life, and I'm still working through it, okay? I'm still very anxious at times, but it wasn't until I fully let go and gave my problems and my struggles and my insecurities to God that I truly felt at peace, that I slept easier, that I had more fun, that I smiled more, that I felt a weight lifted off my shoulders, knowing that God had my back. Let go and let God. It's something we hear all the time, but very few people actually put into practice. Trust in God, and your anxiety will be lifted off of you like nothing else can do. I hope you guys all enjoyed this podcast episode, 26 Things I've Learned in 26 Years of Life on Casual Mondays, a podcast hosted by me, Kat Sanders. Y'all have a wonderful night or day or whenever you're listening to this, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.